Okay, so we're coming into our second third here, and I gotta tell you, this cigar is really good. Really, really good. It's definitely coming into its age of worth being smoked. You know, it definitely wasn't ready when it first came out. Definitely not. Like I said, it was a little bitter, very grassy, very young. This is maturing nicely. It has a very nice, deep vegetal flavor. Um, with just some really, really, it's very straightforward so far. It's just like really good Cuban tobacco, and it's got that vegetal taste. Um, the spice is starting to diminish as we're coming into the second third. It's much more mild now. The smoke is very, very airy, not a creamy smoke at all. It's very, very wispy, airy smoke. Um, I had to cut a little bit more off the end. I saved it over here exactly how much I had to cut off to get a good draw on this thing. That guy did some damage up at the top, you know. But luckily, I got most of the cigar left. I had to get it down to, it took about, I don't know, almost an inch I had to take off the back, you know. So, shit, I'd rather have to do that and still have a decent cigar. And also at least to find out that these are really starting to be worth smoking, you know. Some people are like, oh, they really don't taste that great. I don't know about this cigar. I don't know if it's going to be, you know, you can never tell what it's going to be. Age always works wonders with Cuban cigars. Really, really does. Still a little young, you know. Still got a little harshness to it. But the bitterness has definitely faded out. And the aroma is great. This aroma is just very, it's got that really intense, you know, automatically you know it's Cuban aroma. You know, it's just got that really intense floral aroma with, you know, it's a different, all these aromas are pretty much floral in one way or another a lot of the time, but Cuban aroma has a very, very different undertone to it that's instantly recognizable. Very, very nice aroma. It's got a very musty, kind of musky aroma. You know, it's floral with a very musky kind of base. Very, very nice. Very nice. Got a nice roll. Really good draw. You know, this draw would have been perfect if it wasn't for that little critter. And the ash forming is just, you know, got that really nice charcoaly, flaky Cuban ash. Very nice roll. Very pungent, musky aroma. Mm. 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 Very, very deep vegetal flavor with very pungent, musky aroma. That's how I would describe this. So, what to do? Well, I don't know. I really, really, really hope I can get some more of these. You know, the way it was when I first got them, I really wanted to hold on to them for a good 7 years before I even smoked one. But they're good right now. All right, so I'm gonna keep smoking this thing. We're definitely into the second third right now. Not too many changes from the first, except that the flavor is getting more intense and much deeper, and it's definitely not washing out. You know, I find a lot of non-Cuban cigars do that. They start out with a very, very good, nice flavor, you know, a lot going on, and then as soon as you get into the middle, they just wash out, you know? Especially on some of the larger cigars. Good ones don't do that, but a lot of them, see if you agree with me, you smoke like Nicaraguan cigars, they start out with packed with flavor, and once you start getting into the second, third, all of a sudden they just like fall flat. Then they'll pick up at the end. A lot of them do that. Cuban cigars, the good ones, they don't tend to do that. Even not so good ones don't tend to do that. They tend to have flavor throughout. Oh, this has a very vegetal odor too. It's weird. It's like, you know, I was getting that floral. That's that musky. There's a floral aroma and a musky aroma. I would say a floral bouquet, the very musky smoke. It's nice. It's nice. I'm enjoying it. So let me smoke my way into the second third more, and we'll come back and report any change-ups. But right now, very nice. I would like it to, the flavor is very good. The flavor is getting very good. I would like it to be creamier. You know, maybe the density of the smoke will get thicker as the thing ages and the leaves start to become, you know, they kind of, how do you say it? If you look at the foot of a really well-aged cigar, you'll see the leaves have this almost encrusted. They get thicker, they get harder, they get leathery. You know, they're not so flaky. They're not like leafy and flaky. They become. I'm looking at the foot of an aged. I'll show you on camera what I can. They're like a really 10-year-old aged cigar, and the leaves in the foot are just much thicker, and then see these crystals, these like that fleck back at you. That's kind of, I guess that's like plume and the resins of the, you know, escaping oils and everything crystallizing and drying. And perhaps that gives you a creamier smoke. I'm not sure. Or maybe maybe the texture of the smoke always stays the same depending on the leaves they use in the blend. But right now this smoke is very, very airy, very wispy, and I do wish that it was a little creamier. But so far, all in all, good cigar. I'm liking the cigar. I'm not liking the cold, but I'm liking the cigar. And getting a really nice even burn right here. Nice burn, nice draw. Kind of an airy draw. And it's not that because I cut way past that, but well, it might have been a little tighter because it comes thinner toward the end, but a good draw nonetheless. Maybe perhaps we really see that's what happens when you can't smoke a cigar properly. You can't determine certain aspects. I would say either way the cigar has a good draw. The cigar's looking really good right now. A little way past the halfway point, burning very nicely. Got a nice even burn there. And same flavor right now. Same flavor at the halfway point. It's young through the nose. It's young through the nose. Very leafy, very green through the nose. But it's definitely starting to come around. And I would say maybe given another year, maybe this time next year, or a year and a half, maybe this time next year, and then the following summer, these cigars will be getting ready to really smoke. The first half of the cigar showed that it's definitely maturing and it's definitely getting ready to, you know, be worth smoking. But starting to get some hints of a young, of it being pretty young and a little grassy after the halfway point here. So we're coming into the last third of the cigar here. Got my gloves on. That's how cold it is right now. And it's funny. I was getting some young notes, you know, some kind of grassiness around the middle of the second third, a little bit toward the end. But then the flavor started picking up again, and I started getting a little spice again. And then what were some actually very nice coffee bean type notes. But then all of a sudden, I took a big draw, and the coffee bean notes started getting bitter. You know, at first it was just in the back of the palate, and it was definite like coffee. And then after a few more pulls, I started getting these bitter notes. And then now what I'm getting, I took about 3 or 4 draws, and it's definitely a little bitter on the sides of the tongue. And what I have a feeling is that this cigar is maturing, and in its maturity, it'll have some really nice coffee-type flavors in the last third, you know, developing in the last third as the cigar gets a little stronger. But right now, they're in the middle of their development, and, you know, what was a coffee bean note on the first draw becomes quite bitter as you progress. So this cigar is in a state where the second half, the first half of the cigar is pretty good, and somewhere from the second half down, it starts getting a little green, and then downright bitter. Let's see. Oof, yeah. Definite bitterness, like right in the center of the tongue, like, you know, not a very pleasant flavor. I'll keep smoking and see what happens. It's not unsmokable, but it's definitely a note that you don't want in there. You either want it to go away or develop into something. So let's see what happens as we get into the last third.